Hi, welcome to Zgadgetreview. Before we get started, go ahead and subscribe by hitting the button or the little watermark in the corner. Thank you. If you're not aware, there was a recent patch for Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, another patch a week or 2 weeks after the last huge, gigantic laundry list of changes patch came out. This will be patch 1.2.1. I'm not going to go over the patch because truly I am kind of tired of talking about Cyberpunk's patches. We know this game is going to have patches from now until the end of our lives because CD Projekt Red is committed to make Cyberpunk 2077 a game that they are proud of. This is what the CEO said about the game. And why not? Now that the studio has confirmed that they're going to be working on two franchises, 100% dedicated CD Projekt Red to two franchises, The Witcher and Cyberpunk 2077 for the foreseeable future, it makes sense that they want to have a game that works. So if anybody decides to buy the game later on, they have a good experience. Unlike all the suckers who fell for CD Projekt Red's promises and decided to spend their money. I'm not going to go into that whole rant. So the reason for the video is one, to let you know there's a patch 1.2.1, but the most interesting thing of this is that there was a data miner who found files in the new patch showing missions that presumably were supposed to be part of the game when the game first came out. Of course, as we know, the game was horribly mismanaged and incomplete when it came out. The person that did the data mining goes by the name Romulus. Romulus gave an interview to Eurogamer, and what he uncovered was a series of missions called Street Stories. This isn't the first time that Street Stories has been mentioned when it comes to Cyberpunk 2077. Before Cyberpunk 2077 came out, when the developers were lying to us and making stuff up that we were supposed to get when the game came out, they said that Street Stories was something that it was going to contain around 75 small missions that will take you around Pacifica and, to beef up the game. Of course, this didn't happen, but the data miner has found that these Street Stories were a real thing that didn't make it to the final game. Now, the assumption is that this will come out at some point as part of a DLC. Maybe as part of the DLC that has been promised to us by CDPR that should come out at some point this year. But I'm just going to read you a little bit of what these missions were supposed to be based on the information that has been uncovered within the patch. Some of these only have placeholder text, but other list objectives and email exchanges, including a discussion between two characters about a quest character called Wagner. There's mention of a hostage situation involving a group called Kurt's Militia. Another street story requires players to find a hidden den of netrunners, and there's a mention of a bomb in a swimming pool. So clearly, these were supposed to be side missions that, based on what I'm reading, sound to be a little more involved than, hey, go pick this up and bring this up, or take a guy whose motorized penis is about to explode to the doctor, the Reaper doctor, or whatever it is. One of the quests has a full description and centers on a character called Anthony Anderson, who the player is expected to rescue from the Scavengers gang. It features a new location called Newcomer's Haven, described as an unfinished church repurposed as a shelter, which is presumably located in Pacifica, as the fixer giving out the request is Mr. Hands. That's the other thing. Throughout the game, if you have played Cyberpunk 2077, you get calls from people or messages from people, depending on what part of the city you are. They introduce themselves as, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I'm here to give you different quests within this little area. One of them is Mr. Hands, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first time you meet him is after you break after you break into the facility. You know what? It doesn't matter. But you meet him, and he's supposed to be this person he is going to help you find someone, if I'm not mistaken. I played the game, haven't played it since, so I don't remember exactly what the mission was. But he helps you out to find some or to meet someone who's important within the missions. So it will make sense that they will use characters that have introduced themselves to eventually give you more missions than, hey, do you want to buy a car? Hey, do you want to buy a motorcycle? I don't want to buy anything. Leave me alone. That was so annoying when characters were like, hey, here, there's a car in the corner. You go. The data miner says that the majority of these street stories center within the Pacific area. And if you play, again, Cyberpunk 2077, there's not much to do within Pacifica. Like, you go there for a mission and then you don't really seem to have a reason to go back to that area. It will make sense that they would having more to do within Pacifica. And because of the way Pacifica looks in the map, Street Stories kind of fits that area in the map. So maybe, hopefully, we will be getting this as DLC in the future. And the reason is because what Romulus explains is that the amount of files for Street Stories has increased with this latest patch from the last patch. So what he explains also is there wasn't a lot introduced with the new patch to the game. Specifically, the new patch is to fix the issues that the last patch that came out 2 weeks ago created, and to fix the cops, which are still a broken mess in the game. But that this patch did add a bunch of different files for Street Stories. And seeing how CD Projekt Red is talking about not letting go of Cyberpunk 2077 and making it a game that they are proud of, and saying that there's going to be upcoming DLC, it will make sense that these Street Stories is actually going to be something that's going to come later on. Will this be worth going back to the game and playing? Maybe. I'm done playing Control, so I will be willing to go back to Cyberpunk 2077 to check out any new DLC that they throw in there, because I have some more room in my Xbox. What do you think about this new information that has been uncovered for Cyberpunk 2077? Do you think that this is actually DLC that's going to be upcoming soon to the game, or do you think that we're never ever going to see this ourselves? Let me know in the comment section. That's it from me. Go ahead and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, it really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.